Darnell sat in his car at lunch, the smell of diesel and warehouse dust clinging to his shirt. He stared at his phone. He'd finally logged into his student loan portal for the first time in 7 years. When he went in, he owed $32,000. He was now looking at $48,200. The account was in default, and wage garnishment was pending. He pulled out a grease-stained receipt and a pen. The math was as brutal as a firing squad. Child support was $1,097 a month. The student loans were going to take 15% of his gross. He was making $14.50 an hour at the warehouse. If both hits landed, his take-home pay would be $280 a month. 7 years away, and he'd come home to a life that cost more than he was allowed to earn. He had 40 years of work left ahead of him. At this rate, he'd be bankrupt by Tuesday. The math didn't work. It wasn't just tight, it was impossible. This is Marcus Jones, the finance detective. I came across this case through a legal aid clinic in 2017. Darnell was 31, 6 weeks out of federal custody. He was facing what I can only describe as a financial death spiral. He had a drug conviction and nearly $60,000 in combined debt and arrears. His paycheck was being devoured before it even hit his hand. Most people in Darnell's shoes are told to just work harder. But you can't outwork a math problem that's designed to keep you at zero. This case demonstrates the garnishment trap. There are specific, legal backdoors built into the system that most people never find. This is Case File 623, the second chance contractor. Let me show you how he broke the cycle. We met at a coffee shop near the warehouse. Darnell didn't buy coffee. He brought a notebook and his pay stubs. "I can't live on $280 a month, Marcus." His voice was steady, but his hands were shaking. "If I stay at this warehouse, I'm better off going back inside. At least there, I don't have to worry about rent I can't pay." "The warehouse is a trap," I told him. "Even if you're the best worker they have, you're capped. Your income is visible, it's static, and it's easily garnished. We need to move you from a visible employee to a protected asset." We broke it down into 3 phases: the pivot, the shield, and the launch. I pulled up helmets to hard hats on my phone and slid it across the table. "You have an engineering background from before the conviction. You understand mechanical systems. You want to know what the trades care about? They care if you can walk into a mechanical room in July. The heat hits you like an open oven door, pipes sweating. The air's so thick and hot it fills your chest before you touch a single tool. They care if you can fix the chiller, and then stand there while the ice-cold air blasts back in. It cuts through your sweat-soaked shirt and drives into your skin like the room is angry at you. That's what they care about. Nobody is asking what you did 6 years ago. Here's the problem with being a W-2 employee with a garnishment order I explained. The government sees everything. Your employer reports your wages. The garnishment attaches automatically, and you never even see that money. But if you're a licensed contractor running an LLC, you control the flow. Your clients pay the LLC. The LLC pays you a small management fee. The rest stays in the business account, protected. Is that legal? Not only is it legal, it's how every small business in America operates. The key is that the LLC must be established first. You want to have your EIN number from the IRS, your LLC registration from the state, and your operating agreement. The rules you are operating under written and documented. You can't just create a shell, but if the work is real, the structure protects you. While you're building the trade skills and the LLC, we're going to attack the credit simultaneously. Step 1. Secured credit card, $200 deposit, used for gas only. Pay it in full every month. Step 2. Credit builder loan, $500 through a credit union, auto-paid monthly. Step 3. Become an authorized user on a family member's old, clean account. In 24 months, you'll have a 680+ credit score. That's the number that changes your insurance rates and your apartment options. And eventually, your ability to finance equipment for the business. "I don't have a family member with clean credit," Darnell said. Then we skip step 3 and focus on steps 1 and 2. The timeline shifts to 36 months, but the destination is the same. What about the student loans? Federal student loans have an income-driven repayment plan. Based on your current income, your payment could drop to $0 a month. Legally, you apply, you qualify, you stop the garnishment. At the minimum, you pay nothing. And after 20 years on the plan, whatever's left gets forgiven. It's not a loophole. It's the actual program. Most people just don't know it exists. Darnell sat back in his chair. Why didn't anyone tell me this? Because the system isn't designed to tell you. It's designed to collect. You have to know to ask. He looked down at his notebook. He'd been writing the whole time. So the plan is, get the trade certification, build the LLC, rebuild the credit, and kill the loan payment. That's the plan, I told him. And here's the thing about that plan. Every piece of it is legal. Every part of it is available to you right now. And none of it requires you to be anything other than what you already are. You just have to be willing to do the work. I can do the work, Darnell said. That's never been the problem. I know, I told him. That's why I'm sitting here. Darnell enrolled in a union pre-apprenticeship program through helmets to hard hats 6 weeks after our meeting. He was placed with a mechanical contractor in Indianapolis 18 months later as a second-year apprentice. His hourly rate came in at $28.50. He filed for income-driven repayment 5 weeks after our meeting. His monthly student loan payment dropped from a garnishment level percentage of his gross to $0 a month. The garnishment never landed. He opened a secured credit card in month 2 and a credit builder loan in month 3. By month 18, his credit score was 671. He registered the LLC, D. Carter Mechanical Services, in month 8. His first client was the mechanical contractor he was apprenticing under. That contractor routed weekend and overflow work to him directly. By month 24, Darnell was earning $28.50 an hour as an apprentice. He was also invoicing between $2,000 and $4,000 a month through the LLC. His take-home was no longer $280 a month. It was $5,200. Here is what this case actually demonstrates. The garnishment trap is real, and it is designed to be invisible. Most people who fall into it don't know the exits exist. Darnell had 3 legal exits available to him the second he walked out of federal custody. Nobody told him. That is not an accident. The first exit was income-driven repayment. Federal student loans are not a fixed sentence. The payment is calculated based on what you earn. If you earn very little, you pay very little. If you earn nothing, you pay nothing. The program exists. The application is free. Most people in Darnell's position never file because nobody tells them to. The second exit was the LLC structure. A sole proprietor with a garnishment order is exposed. Every dollar that flows through a W-2 is visible and attachable. An LLC with real work and real invoices creates a legal separation between the business and the individual. That separation is not a trick. It is the foundational structure of American small business. The third exit was the trade credential. A drug conviction does not disqualify you from a union apprenticeship in most states. The trades have a shortage. They need people who can do the work. Helmets to hard hats exist specifically to connect returning citizens with union programs. The credential changes the income ceiling permanently. What Darnell did was not exceptional. He followed a map. The map existed before he sat down at that coffee shop. The only question was whether someone was going to show it to him. Here is your assignment. If you are carrying federal student loan debt and you have never filed for income-driven repayment, stop and look it up today. The application takes 20 minutes. If your income is low enough, your payment drops to 0. If you stay on the plan for 20 years, the remainder is forgiven. This is not a rumor. This is the program. If you have a garnishment order or you are facing one, talk to a legal aid attorney. Do it before you do anything else. Most cities have free legal aid clinics. They know these exits. They can tell you which ones apply to your situation. Do not try to navigate this alone. If you are thinking about the trades, go to helmetstohardhats.org. If you have a record, go anyway. The eligibility rules vary by state and by union. You will not know what is available to you until you ask. And if you are thinking about the LLC structure, talk to a licensed attorney and a CPA. Do that before you set anything up. The structure Darnell used is legal and it is effective, but it has to be done correctly. The paperwork should be in order and all invoices recorded and reported in your documents. The moment it becomes a shell, you have a different problem. The exits exist. Most people never find them because nobody shows them the door. So here is the door. The next move is on you. I am Marcus Jones, the finance detective. This has been Case File 623, the Second Chance Contractor. Run the numbers, follow the money trail, Find your path one clue at a time.